Hey everybody, it's Frank. I'm back again for the next and final edition of my GenXer Navigating the 2020's series. So today's will serve as a dual purpose. Today I'm going to talk about the last topic on my list, which was music. And I also want to do a wrap up of this whole series before I move on to the next series next month, which I think everybody's going to enjoy. So I saved this one for last. We've already covered things like technology and movies and TV and also politics. But I saved this one for the end because music is very near and dear to me. And those of you who know me know that I've been collecting records since I was a very small boy, since basically about 1978. So that's around 45 years. So I love music, all types of music. One of the things I can thank my parents for is I was brought up in a house where there was always music playing, and it was a very eclectic mix of music. Although I was raised in the 70s and early 80s, I not only was raised with the music of the time, but I also was shown an appreciation for things like Herb Alpert and 50s R&B and rock and roll, jazz, classic country, just about anything and everything you can imagine. So I developed an appreciation for all different sorts of music, and that I've continued to this day. But I will say, I have struggled in the past decade to find new stuff out there that is good. And I know that, like, if you fish for it, if you listen to alternative radio or one of the alternative stations on Sirius XM, or there's a plug. I don't know why I'm doing that. They're not paying me, but there's stuff out there. But frankly, at this day and age, I don't really have time to like siphon through 100 channels. But I can tell you this: commercial radio is so way different than it was when I was younger. No matter what decade it was, I could always turn on the local radio stations and find something that I liked. Whether it would, like I said, I was brought up in the 70s and 80s. Started with disco, believe it or not, yacht rock, and then into the 80s with of course new wave and synthesizer music, Michael Jackson, Madonna, all that stuff, and heavy metal. I was a big metalhead back in the 80s. And in the 90s, there was great stuff out there too. I wasn't a huge grunge fan, although I do appreciate the talent that it took to make that music. But I was into a lot of stuff then, like the Bare Naked Ladies, Sublime, groups like that. Green Day, I really appreciated. And even with rap, we were the first generation, my generation, that really was exposed to rap music. I remember having to order the Message album from Grandmaster Flash. I had to order it in a record store in the city because the suburban record stores out here at the mall didn't carry it. And so I was brought up with Grandmaster Flash and Run DMC and all the groups at that time, Eric B. and Rakim, and all the great original rap stars. And then the next generation too. I mean, I developed an appreciation for Biggie and Tupac and DMX. I loved. Man, unfortunately, just died last year. But I mean, when I look at the current state of all those genres of music, heavy metal, country, I mean, I know it's my age talking, but there's just nothing out there I could find that's out there currently that I can really wrap my head around. I have friends that love country. If you were like me, we were brought up on classic country. Conway Twitty and George Jones, and of course, the great Johnny Cash. And they laugh at like what they call country today. So I don't listen to it. I mean, I've heard a little bit of it. It doesn't do much for me. And even with metal, I was brought up with Judas Priest and Iron Maiden and the Scorpions and Ozzy, and although that stuff's still out there to a degree, I just can't get into the heavy death metal scene that's predominant there right now. I don't know. I guess you get to a certain age with music, like TV, like movies, like technology, where your generation starts to speak for you, and although I followed music for 40 years. There came a point the past decade, where I just couldn't turn on the radio anymore and say, hey, I like that. I remember having an ongoing discussion with my son. He's a big rap fan. My personal feeling is, although I listened to rap for many years, like, when artists like Drake came out and the mumble rap, I mean, I think it just ruined the rap industry. I can't even listen to it anymore. But yeah, I know. Get out of my yard, boomer. Whatever. I'm not a boomer, by the way. Gen Xer. Title of this series, by the way, if you didn't check. But that's really it. I guess with the music, I just feel like I wish there would be some continuum where like there was stuff out there that was that I could get into, but again, I can't. Much like the current movies and the current TV. But fortunately, I have a very large record collection, so I have plenty of variety to choose from to find music that I find really, really good. So that's it for this series. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you identified with some of it. Those of you that are in my age range, you younger folks, you're probably thinking, just another old guy complaining. But just observations. It's what I do. Ask anybody that knows me. I observe life and I talk about it almost to a fault. That is my series, a GenXer navigating the 2020s. We're very early in the 2020s, by the way, so a lot can happen in this decade yet, and I'm hoping for some good stuff, both personally and collectively. So I'm taking my show on the road for the next series. Well, I'm going to take a deep dive into my hometown here, York, PA, and just kind of look at some of the things that have changed, a lot of the things that have changed in the past 40 years. So I'm going to get some assistance from some family members. They don't know it yet. To help me take this show on the road and kind of look at how York has changed. Now, I know that might be like limiting my audience to people from the local area, but hopefully somebody will find some things accessible for you anyway. And as always, I really appreciate you tuning in and listening to me ramble about my observations in the world we live in. It is much appreciated. So all this stuff, again, is available on YouTube. I just run them continuously and I add to them all the time. So I have a YouTube channel. Just type in my name and there you'll find me. Probably usually sitting at this table. And I appreciate it. So tell your friends, tell your neighbors, tell a coworker you don't particularly like. I don't know why I said that, but just the more press, the better. Shameless plug. So that's it for today. Have a great day today. Be kind to yourself, be kind to each other, and I'll see you soon. Take care.